If you love sinister metal, then you know ABSU. And we have in the studio today the head, the heart, and the hands of the band, the man, the myth, the legend, Proscriptor from ABSU. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you very much.
It's so cool to have you. God.
It's a pleasure to be here on the Corpsepaint show. I appreciate it.
That is so good. That is so cool. And Janie Slash, we got some pictures of Ghost Babes coming up later.
Yeah.
We got to get to that. We want to hear from Proscriptor, man. What, how are you? How are things? And how is the band? Just how are things moving?
Moving in a very prosperous fashion.
Good.
This being 2019, this celebrates 28 years of existence.
Now, hold on. Need to repeat that close to the mic.
Okay. Being 2019, this celebrates 28 years of the band's existence.
Oh, that deserves some big high fives, man.
For a perpetual amount of time. And right now we are completing a new album which will see the light of day in the autumn months of this year.
No kidding. You heard it here on the Corpsepaint show. New ABSU in 2019.
Yes, that is correct.
So if you're releasing it in the fall, you probably have a lot of the songs already kind of pretty much done or pretty much written or recorded?
The recording process actually started in 2015. I will say there have been a lot of obstacles with the overall procedure with the album, but I will say that it is at the 92% completion mark.
Cool.
And we are putting the final touches on this opus, and it will see the light of day definitely before the end of the year, so we're definitely looking forward to that for another staple within the discography of the band.
Do you like recording here? You've got a favorite studio here in North Texas you like?
Usually, dating back to ABSU's first album, which was released in 1993, the first two albums were recorded at various studios, but ever since the recording and the release of the third album, The Third Storm of Cuthrell, we have chosen Nomad Recording Studios, which was based out of Carrollton, Texas, as our home away from home for the recording of ABSU recordings. But they have relocated, so this last album was recorded at various studios all across the world. For example, the drums and the bass guitar were tracked in Irving, Texas. Guitars were recorded in Maryland, and keyboards were recorded in Marathon, Greece, and guest solo guitar players actually recorded in Portugal, Queens, New York,
nice,
and France as well.
I was so impressed with this one. You've got great guests from all these bands, and I'm such a huge appreciator of Nornegest from Enthroned.
Correct.
And he did some singing on it, right?
Yes, he did. He contributed some guest vocals for 2 songs on that album. And that is the first of the eponymous self-titled release.
Yes.
The first on Candlelight Records, which was issued back in 2009. And also some other guests that were featured on that album were musicians from not only Enthroned, but The Firstborn, another Portuguese band, Zimiel out of Greece, Malakesh, and a few past members that were with the King Diamond outfit.
Nice. What, Proscriptor, weren't you Melikesh for a few years?
Well, I wouldn't personally say that I was Melikesh, but I was in the band for the second and third album within the band's discography, Jen and Sphinx, both that were issued on Osmos Productions back in 2001 and 2003. And the reason why I'm no longer in that outfit was basically due to vast geographical distances, being in one continent and the rest of the band being in another. So it was a mutual agreement that it was best that I step away, and they should find another percussionist that's more neighboring to them.
Geographically a little better.
Correct.
What is your heritage?
I am Scotch-Irish and a quarter, 25% Cherokee Indian. So I am Scotch-Irish and Cherokee Indian.
And you're into Sumerian occult, Egyptian, mythology.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is ABSU the name of a Sumerian god?
Well, it comes from the Prima Mobile, the allied alliance of Mumu Tiamatu, which is the origin and counterparts of Sumerian, Mesopotamian, and Assyrian mythology, and a vast richness of ABSU's lyrical content deals with not only that, but networks specific occult sciences of Ordo Templi Orientis, also known as the OTO, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Thelemic magic, Enochian magic, arithmancy, and also ceremonial magic as well. So I network those particular occult sciences combined with the philosophies and doctrines of the aforementioned mythologies and put my own spin, yet my own twist, within the lyrical conception of ABSU's poetic ways.
Nice. Look, side question, kind of, I guess. I mean, I appreciate the depth of what you're saying, but do you sometimes get maybe a note from a fan saying, I love your music, but I can't pronounce the song title?
That is correct, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the vociferous ways of my lyrical content were so convoluted by the time that we released a very special album within ABSU's discography called Terra, which was released in 2001. I knew that I was puzzling the follower of ABSU's music, so I decided with that particular album, which is a conceptual record, to include a lexicon of foreign terms, occult terms, and different mythological characters within the lyrical content of the album. I thought it would be best and most suitable to include a lexicon,
Gotcha.
Basically a glossary in the back of the CD booklet and the LP to educate the listener, and I feel that is immensely important to educate the listener of ABSU's music so they understand my maniacal mind of being a poetic madman that I am.
You are. In fact, that sign I was holding, "The Logic of Chaos," is one of your phrases. And it's from one of these songs. I don't know which, but it's funny. So there's an album called Terra. There's a song on here called Amy, which I love.
It's pronounced Ami.
Ami.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's
and
okay.
then there's these super long song titles that don't even play on my little digital screen in the car. You know,
Yes.
there's too
In
much.
the name of about to be a, which is a demon I once knew in a past life.
Well, let's talk about that. How did you know this demon?
Okay, well, at the age of 12, due to a particular methylene, the oxium noose that I once encountered, I had visited this particular spirit, and it came back to me as I was writing the lyrical content for this particular song later on in 2008. So that is the origin behind that particular song moniker.
So
more or
cool.
less.
So in the back of your mind, and maybe it's in your gut, maybe you've got some demon presence that will let itself out for future albums, or even this one, 2019.
That is correct.
I love what you're saying, man. Let's switch gears and talk drumming and singing. Look, I know this might sound weird. Is singing better when you're drumming?
It is. Let me make an analogy about singing and percussive executions. To make an analogy, a lot of people have asked me throughout the years, how do you sing and play live, especially with extreme metal music? Well,
Yeah.
it's like extracting the training wheels off of a bicycle. And being the chief lyricist behind the band, I syllabically write the lyrics around the drum patterns, which actually makes it a very more elementary process.
Nice.
If I wasn't the lyricist or the poetic advisor for the band, I think it would be much more meticulous in order to sing and play simultaneously. But I find that to be a very easy rhythm and a very natural process within both executions at a simultaneous pace.
Gotcha. So Janie Slash, he's back there singing while doing this double bass pedal that is as fast as you can imagine. And you make it work, man. You've never had the desire to just throw the sticks down and come out front?
I do.
Okay.
I actually do. Since 2013, ABSU has employed a secondary drummer to where I am able to not only play the role as a percussionist, as a simultaneous percussionist and vocalist, but to also be a sole vocalist at the same time. Unfortunately, within the past couple of years, I have developed a neurological disturbance in my right leg, so it's becoming more and more difficult for me to drum after 39 years of playing. So I am singing more up front than singing and playing simultaneously.
Gotcha. Okay. You started playing when you were very young.
Correct.
Tiny kid.
1981 is when it started.
All right. If I went to your house, how many drum sets would there be?
One.
Oh, okay. So, see, I thought you were going to say 3 or 4.
There used to be.
And now it's just one favorite.
Just one, yes, that is correct.
And what needs to be updated? Do you get a new stool like every couple of years? Like, I want my butt soft and comfy.
The two elements behind a drum set that I'm always upgrading or renovating, cymbals, of course, because they are the components that are going to be damaged at a very fast pace. But drum pedals, I'm always experimenting with different drum pedals because I am a close camaraderie that knows me, that I am very obsessive compulsive and have a obsessive compulsive disorder, so I'm always
Banging on things?
well, not that, but just meticulously finding the right resistance, non-resistance, and different settings of different
Gotcha.
drum pedals. So,
Very cool.
yes.
This is great news about your release for 2019. I mean, that's great news, and the band continues. When you want the sound you want, is it you at the production controls? Is it the location you've chosen for recording, or is it a combination of all of this as well as setting the mics right on the instruments?
It's definitely all of the above. I mean, the band is fully in charge of the pre-production process, tightening up the compositions and arrangements before we officially go into the studio to track the hymns for the album. And also I'm in charge of some of the mix. But for this particular album, JT Longoria, who is a fabulous engineer within the Dallas region, will be handling the final touches for the final production of the album's mix.
This mix sounded very strong as well. Was that JT?
That was JT as well. So JT,
Shout out.
JT Longoria was in charge of the last two eponymous self-titled albums, and will be in charge for the third/last part of the trilogy as well.
Gotcha. All right. Which will be this one,
Correct.
2019.
Yes.
All right. All right. Very cool. Hey, we have a sponsor. It's the Corpse Factory, Janie Slash, and you have a couple of Living Dead dolls over there that they offer. This is our partner, Proscriptor, and they're doing a cool horror convention coming up in July. That'll be at the Mesquite, believe it or not, Mesquite Convention Center. And it's
Hunters Convention.
Yeah, thank you. Do you ever get out to horror cons or I don't know, fan cons? Just as a fan?
No, I don't. I'm more enthralled with music collecting, esoteric, arcane text, and being the misanthropist that I am, I prefer isolation, away from the temporal race more than anything else. So no, I don't have the opportunity to explore such conventions and gatherings as
Well,
a lot of people do. A lot of my close camaraderie, they do, but that's something that I do not partake in.
Fair enough. Look, but having said that, we thank you for being here.
I greatly appreciate it.
Man, we do, Proscriptor. I really
thank you
appreciate
very
it, man.
much.
And will the album look? I remember this tour in 2017. One of the other bands was Necro Delirium, who we
yes.
like a lot, and you were all around Europe. I think there was a lot of dates in Norway and of course on the continent. Silly question, but are people more knowledgeable over there about you?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we are known on a universal global basis.
You are.
I would say the ABSU was prominently more on a notorious, infamous level, definitely 20 plus years ago, but now, in this present day and age, I feel that the notoriety is equally distributed, and the times have changed quite a bit since the early to mid 90s when we first started to present date. So times have changed quite a bit.
Well, by that, do you mean the fans and they look different, or?
No, not necessarily that, but extreme metal music was definitely more prominent in the European regions versus the United States. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. I'm talking more extreme black metal music,
Of course.
But it's definitely it's different. It's definitely I think it's more accepted here now. It's somewhat of a it's a tedious question. to
Yeah,
answer.
it is.
really
I'm
is.
sorry,
Yeah,
man.
no,
I
it's
just
okay.
throwing you
No,
left.
There's
yeah.
no need to apologize whatsoever, but it's just times have definitely altered since the beginning days, the genesis of ABSU, the abysmal genesis of this band.
Look. I have the impression that America was slow to catch on to this sinister music,
That is correct.
and so that's I guess what I'm trying to get at. I guess is that hey, probably for a while you were more greatly appreciated if you were in Reykjavik, or if you were in Oslo, or if you were in Helsinki. I don't know, just my impression. I'm just guessing here. Maybe.
Yes, not only that, but definitely European countries such as Germany, especially France, Belgium, Italy, Greece. We still have very strong ties with those particular countries. I mean, back in the early days of ABSU, our closest camaraderie were a lot of Greek bands. Rotting Christ, Verathron, Zemiel.
Septic Flesh?
Yeah, definitely. No, not necessarily them. Impelled Nazarene from Finland, Sadistic
Impaled Man.
Execution from Australia.
Love it.
Disaster from Germany. Necromantia from Greece once again. Definitely some of our closest camaraderie back to the early days of ABSU's formation.
You're a fucking badass, man. And I'm just so honored that you're here.
Well, I greatly appreciate it once again. This is, was not familiar with this particular show up until not too long ago, and once again, just a perpetual thank you for including me on this show. Greatly appreciate it very much.
Very welcome. We have a horror expert. That's Janie Slash. She tends to cover the horror movies and horror things going on. We love that too on this show. So we're sinister metal, extreme punk, dose of this and that, and horror films. Hey, did you know you're in this?
I did. Yes, very familiar with that book.
Oh, cool.
Yes, very much.
And what this is 7 metal inches. Now, I bought this from Cult Never Dies.
Mm-hmm.
Love that and love them. And there you are. I think it was a split 7-inch. I got the page marked.
Oh, nice.
I got the page marked because I forgot what song it was. But let's see. Bear with me. Okay.
Oh, Demonical.
Demonical.
Sweden. Yes.
So you're on a split with a Swedish band. I just think that's badass, man.
Yes, that particular extended play release was issued by a label out of Spain called Temple of Darkness.
Temple of Darkness.
And they issued that as a picture 7-inch. And personally do not know the fellows in the band Demonical, but we agreed to do a split release with one another, and it turned out fabulous. Very pleased with it, yes.
So this is a 7-inch on vinyl, and that's what
Correct.
this whole book is about, is specialty, extreme metal, black metal, vinyl, singles, 7 inches. Are you, which leads me to this, I'm kind of a CD guy.
I am too.
Are you? Okay. All right, so I have this visual that there's a bunch of CDs in your residence, in your apartment, in your house, just along all the walls.
That is correct.
Now, I get the impression as well that there's maybe some Emerson, Lake and Palmer in there. You can be honest with me here.
Absolutely correct.
And what I hear, especially on this CD, man, is just a bunch of German thrash. I mean it's very unique to you. It's a great release. It's ABSU, but you can kind of tell the influence there.
Definitely. Well, I will say that ever since I joined the band, because when ABSU first started, well, let me roll back to the year of 1988.
Please.
Before the moniker of ABSU was solidified, previous band members, Equitant and Shaftiel, I was in a couple of bands with them before that particular moniker was solidified back in 1991. I was in a band with both of them, one called Carnage with a K, the other one called Carrion with a K, paying homage and admiration to a German band called Creator.
Of course.
And then I kind of split ways and was involved with 2 other bands before I joined ABSU on June 10th, 1992, one called Osirist and the other one called Magus, which we released an EP on Gothic Records, and we have some posthumous releases that have been issued in the past few years. But ever since I joined, death metal was at a somewhat of a stagnated period, and I saw this, I had this prediction, this particular forecast of how notorious black metal was going to become. I mean,
Fortuitous.
excluding, the first wave with such bands as Bathory, Venom, and so forth.
You kind of predicted that second wave. You knew
I did.
Had a feeling.
And I felt that once I joined the outfit of ABSU, I said, I think it would be best if I formulated our own subsidiary category and call it mythological occult metal. So on a euphonious musical basis, it is the combination of black metal, death metal, thrash, traditional heavy metal, and elements of progressive and experimental music. And a lot of people, especially close camaraderie to me, know that I am a huge, huge, immaculate fan of progressive rock music, especially. Not only that, but 60s psychedelic, 70s progressive rock. Anything from 1966 to 1986, even if it's pop, it's golden to me. That 20-year period.
No kidding.
Is so stalwart to music and very revolutionary and groundbreaking, not only in recording but just songwriting, musical execution, just techniques, many endless spectrums. So.
And see, that was one of my questions. It was kind of a guilty pleasure of yours, and that might surprise us, and you answered it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so, was there a magic year in progressive that was, I don't know, 72 or something, when Yes released something, and ELP, and everybody out of Britain, it seemed, was putting out just the most incredible progressive in like 1 year. That was kind of monumental.
I wouldn't necessarily narrow it down to 1 year, but I will say from probably 1967 to 1975, and I hate to say it, but 1967, with a lot of bands that I appreciate in the progressive rock realm, they will say one album changed their lives, and that is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album, which is not an influence on me, but I mean, any musician that's been in King Crimson, Yes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Focus, Genesis, Magma, the list goes on and on and on. They will say how much of a groundbreaking record that was, not only with the songwriting, the compositions, and the arrangements. There was so much technology advancements with the recording process of that album. So I would have to say 1967 through 75, that particular 8-year period, I think was very strong for art rock.
Did you say through 85?
No, through 67 through 1975.
75.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm fond also of all those progressive releases from that period, man. I definitely am. Hey, I want to make sure that our viewers, listeners know about a couple of things coming up. First off, Janie Slash is a ghost babe.
Yes.
A ghost
babe.
A ghost hunter.
I'm not a ghost. No, ghost. It's called a paranormal investigator.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
no, and this is serious.
Hunter.
No,
I'm
no,
not hunting ghosts. I'm investigating.
Investigating.
For them.
And she took some pictures recently.
We did a photo shoot yesterday in the cemetery for Ghost
Because
Babe.
probably like you, we hang out in the cemetery sometimes, Proscriptor.
With our hearse. Yeah, we look like we're supposed to be there.
So, and there they are. There's two ghost babes.
Yeah.
And
It's
there.
me and Matilda Crow. So yeah.
And there it is. Look.
And the Ghost Babe mobile. Yeah.
Proscriptor, will you come over to my house and we'll drive the hearse around?
Yes.
That is parked in my garage.
Drive the hearse.
Find ghosts.
Spin a little Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. And, every once in a while, you get some musicians together who try and cover an ELP song. It always ends up sounding so different. But I still like that. I do. I like the other attempts at being ELP, And this one album, I can't remember the title, but just always it stuck with me. But they had it. Well, it was a covers of ELP songs.
Oh, I see.
Called Encores and something else. And but they had such an appreciation of classical music, and then from that it helped my appreciation of various literature pieces and some classical, believe it or not.
Okay.
So
So
anyway,
it was a tribute compendium, more or less.
there was a tribute released.
I see.
Yeah, we'll spin that in the hearse.
Okay, definitely.
The hearse only has the cassette player.
That's fine.
Yeah, but see, if I go to Car Toys, I think I can have them yank this out and put it in a CD
No,
player.
I like the cassette player.
But
Cassettes are coming back.
because you're right.
I have one.
In fact,
I
that
do have one.
dovetails into something nicely. Will the new release be on cassette as well as vinyl, as well as CD?
Long playing record, yes. Compact disc, yes. The cassette is still in question.
In
at
question.
this particular
Fair enough.
point.
Cassettes are hard.
That's fair enough.
It's not
You're right.
everybody's likes cassettes.
Hey, Proscriptor, I have something for you. It's a gift to you.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it. I
It is-
don't know what it is, but I can tell you thank you already. Thank you very much.
Metal Legion is published in Portugal. This is a European metal magazine, of which the Corpsepaint show is the U.S. distributor. This is for you, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
But I want you to hold it up and let people know if they would like their own copy. Email me. The email is on our website. It's Metal Legion, and I really think you will like this.
Definitely.
You will like that. You will like it. There's a great
Especially with R Noir on the cover.
R Noir.
They're also very good friends of ours.
No kidding.
Yes. Runa Eriksson, who is the guitar player, who used to be in Mayhem, actually played the guitar solos on the last 3 ABSU albums.
God, that's so awesome, man. I got to tell you, I love the songs that are just driving with no guitar solo in them. All due respect to your fabulous guitar soloists. Fair enough. But there are some that just keep on going, and I don't know, maybe those are the ones that are more the Germanic thrash, kind of taste. I like them all.
I have had a couple of debates with past and current members of ABSU about the principle of the guitar solo. I totally believe in them, even though being a percussionist. And some say that they shouldn't be inclusive in some of our songs, when I feel that they should be inclusive in some songs. But that all depends on the aesthetic feeling and sensation of what is occurring, not only in rhythmic sense, but also what is occurring within the lyrical attributions of that particular song.
We also appreciate, they're not really our partner, but we certainly do grasp them tightly, Gas Monkey Live and Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. And you know what? 2019, they're bringing some great bands into town. If you venture out, I will look for you at some of these gigs. If not, I totally respect and understand. But Gas Monkey, let me just mention, the 69 Eyes never come to America, it seems like. And there they are, from Finland. Will be here in 2019, and it's
May
been
6th.
May 6th, and it looks like I think it's been like 10 years, since they've been on these shores, and I don't think they've been in Dallas for a long time. So this is our website, and there's so much good coming up, including, you mentioned Norwegian metal, of course, from Sweden is Dark Funeral, and they're coming back.
Yes, with Belphegor, Incantation, and Hate, which are 3 bands on that package, who are 3 bands that ABSU has shared the road with.
No kidding.
That is a true statement
Oh, that's so cool.
and a cool story.
It is. Look,
Isn't that a cool story?
it is.
Yeah.
So there's a chance you might be at that show.
I think I will be in attendance. I do. I think I'll be there.
Let's stay in touch, brother.
Yeah, definitely. You got it.
Now, look, if a band like that comes into town, this is a weird question. Okay. And
There's no such ideology of a weird question or a silly question, but the one that drives me maniacally crazy.
Please
are
tell
the
us.
people that say, "I have a quick question."
and it's never a
Ooh,
question.
wait,
exist.
what about the people that ask if they can ask you a question?
That too.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
That is definitely the runner-up to a quick question.
The worst is when it's on social media. They'll like message you, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And you're like,
Makes me want to run through sheetrock.
and then they disappear for like 3 hours, and you're like, "What the fuck was that question?" And then they finally ask it, and it's like something really
Minor.
minor.
Yeah.
That like, why are you?
Makes
asking
me want to drink a shrapnel cocktail.
I guess we should just answer no. If someone asks that, can I ask?
Be like, well, you already asked me once, so you're a quota for the day. So
I'm
try
sorry
me
to
tomorrow.
interrupt you.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm sorry.
No, we're just chatting
Oh,
here.
We detoured off that
You're-
turnpike of topic.
Or
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
Proscriptor, you know me
good.
because now and on this show often I go off road, and just like what happened there, I like the off road stuff.
I live with him. Everything's off road.
Look,
We'll circle back.
So could it happen, theoretically, that one of these bands comes to town and they say, "God dang, our drummer hurt his hand slamming it in the bus door.
No.
Could you come out and just fill in while we're in Dallas?" That would not happen. Doesn't happen.
No.
All right. That was a fast answer.
That would be
A long question.
feel
What
like
I can
he's been
tell
asked
you,
that
I'm
before.
a chivalrous man, but I'm not that chivalrous.
Gotcha. You'd be like, ain't gonna do it.
Like, oh.
One of our other favorite bands is Arsis, right there. They're American, and they play that. I don't know. A couple of their songs kind of reminded me of ABSU. I'll have to ask him if he, if he listened to you a lot. But it's that it's more technical death,
Yes.
and I like that too. All right, so we covered Gas Monkey. Now, I'm not sure if you are, but I am a fan of The Clash.
Okay.
And believe it or not, last week there was International Clash Day. And the city of Austin, yeah, there's one of the flyers, all across the world. And the city of Austin actually issued a proclamation saying this is, I think it was last week Wednesday, is International Clash Day. And just an appreciation of Joe Strummer, all of their music. And that's another off-road. I just wanted to mention it.
Oh, okay.
Because I have the cool flyers.
Yeah, definitely.
I like
not
to.
familiar with that until now. So.
Can you believe it? I think it
Yeah.
was the first one, the first annual, and I believe it coincides with the release date of
London Calling, I believe.
was it release date of London Calling in
I thought
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
what
sure.
it said. I
So
could
there-
be wrong.
So the mayor of Austin, along with a few other cities in the U.S. and then mostly outside the U.S., that's the mayor of Austin issued this proclamation, International Clash Day, February 7th. I think we should do something next year for it, Janie Slash.
Sure, let's
we'll have
do
a big Clash party.
As long as
Something here.
yeah, let's do it.
Now, I do want to mention also that we're co-hosting an event at the Texas Theater. It is the screening along with DJ Satan, which is me, in the lobby for Lords of Chaos. And it's that event right there coming up on,
The 21st.
yeah, thank you. So, and I know that movie gets some heat, and it's certainly not a true, story and such, but we are going to have a great night on the 21st, just because it's a party atmosphere.
In Liquid Death water.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. That's all Texas Theater events coming up, and they've got a lot coming up this month and every month. Did you know that there is a water drink for metalheads called Liquid Death Mountain Water?
I have heard of it before.
Have you tried
but
it?
I have not tried it. I've yet to consume that particular beverage.
So one of the principles of the company, you have to say you're over 18 to get on their website.
Okay.
So one of the principles of the company is the artist behind Mr. Pickles.
Okay.
From Adult Swim, right, Janie Slash?
Yes.
Yeah.
That explains the awesome artwork.
Yes. And so you can actually get this. Get a free can of this wonderful beverage, which is from Austria. The water is from Austria. If you sign a contract to sell your soul. and there's the contract. It's on their website. Bill of sale for one can, and if you sell your soul, and then you sign it over to Liquid Death.
What if you already sold your soul?
I know, because
I sold my soul in the 9th grade for a whatchamacallit.
I would still
did. I
sign
was
it and see
hungry.
if they check that and send you a free beverage.
Is that like taking out a double mortgage or something?
Yeah, could you do that? Like a double
I-
mortgage on my soul.
Anyways,
I
just
sold
wanted to
it-
point that
I
out.
sold it to a girl who has the same name as me, so I figured maybe, I don't know, that could work out somewhere.
Now, it looks like there will be some of that beverage at the Texas Theater screening of Lords of Chaos on the 21st. So keep that in mind. There it is, Liquid Death. Mountain water. Marketed to metalheads, and you can sell your soul for a free can to try it.
And it looks like a beer.
It does.
And I think
Like a
that is
Miller
one
Lite.
big can, too. Is like 50 milliliters or 500?
I feel like that's wrong.
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure.
I don't think you
Yeah.
know conversions.
Yeah, anyways.
No.
So we have. There we go. Yeah.
There you go. I like how happy he looks. But will I lose my body and just be arms and a dismembered head?
Hey, Janie Slash.
Yes.
I mention this often on the show, and that is all of our episodes are archived on YouTube,
Yes.
and we have had some awesome Sinister Metal guests, Proscriptor, including from Shooter and from 1349 and from Sawhill Sacrifice and from many others. And the guy behind Cult Never Dies, that's Dale Patterson. We're a big fan of The Damned as well. And they kind of had that psychedelic period.
Yes, that is correct.
I like that period.
Yes.
So Monty, who's the current keyboardist from The Damned, was one of our guests as well, not that long ago. Is there a favorite Damned album that pops to mind, or is that not really, something you're totally listening to? Just curious.
Not a favorite act of mine, but I have the utmost respect for that particular act, and do not have a favorite album, but I do enjoy their music quite a bit. I do.
Gotcha. We're hoping that they swing back through Dallas again.
We're going to see them at Punk Rock Bowling in May.
Oh, thank you for that heads up.
You're welcome.
Punk Rock Bowling with the Stranglers and the Damned and the Specials and so many others as well. Freaking love it. Proscriptor, where do you prefer that fans of your band, or new fans or existing fans, go to find out more? Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook, definitely, the official ABSU network. Our official website, which
That
is...
one right there, right?
That is correct. That is it. Our official website, which is absu.us. And for the obtainment of our music, I think it is best to go to our label sites, which are awesomousproductions.com, Candlelight Records, Spine Farm, and also labels that have released and reissued some of our posthumous releases and prior releases. The Crypt, Dark Symphonies, Dark Descent Records. I will say that I'm a strong, stalwart believer in physical platforms
Agreed.
such as the compact disc, the vinyl, the cassette, the 8-track, the reel-to-reel.
Put something in.
think-
Yeah.
I would rather have the follower of ABSU's music stream than to buy a digital download. And one interesting statistic that I read a few months ago, that in the year of last year, 2018, digital downloads, and that's pertaining to track and album sales, were at an all-time low ever since it became a notorious staple, which is good, even though that compact disc sales do decline more and more, but the compact disc sale dominated the digital download in 2018.
Nice.
Which I'm very pleased, because physical formats are definitely very important. I think it's very yet aesthetically crucial that the follower and fan of that particular band physically hold the product that contains the artwork, the photography, the lyrical concept, the credits, the liner notes, the credentials, the
Cool
the
photos.
sponsors of the endorsements by the instrument companies. I mean, I think that's very important, and
Agreed.
eternal salute to the physical platform of music, and I hope
Agreed.
it's very important to the artist of underground music, especially.
Yeah, no, I agree. That used to be one of my that still is one of my favorite things about having a compact disc is the artwork inside and everything the band has put into it. It's also a way to get to know the band a little bit better.
Definitely.
So, compact disc, T-shirt, we agree with all of that. Something physical in your hand, we've said it often here, put something physical in your hand is kind of our mantra.
Correct. I couldn't agree more.
Hey, all right, you've got a couple of sponsors, right?
I do, actually.
Let's do that right now.
Okay. Well, I have. Are you talking about as far as endorsements are concerned?
Endorsements for,
okay.
for drum, whatever?
Yes. Ahead drumsticks, which are a aluminum-based drumstick. They're not wood. They're made out of aluminum. They have a lifetime guarantee. I play those, and also Trick pedals, who I'm also endorsed by, and. Those are the two at this particular time.
Cool. Can I go back to Emerson, Lake and Palmer for a minute?
Yeah, you sure can. Anytime.
Are you one of those like me that strives to find all of the, even if they're bootleg, live recordings and see if you can catch any changes, differences in the drumming or in any of the instrumentation?
I do. Not particularly with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I have done that in the past with King Crimson, for example. I have hundreds and hundreds of bootleg recordings and different live recordings from their most notorious point from 1969 through 75 before they went on hiatus and reformatted in 1981. But that's one band off the top of my head that I've searched for with different changes within the musical architecture of those songs in a live atmosphere.
So if I were at your home and you were playing music, it might be just King Crimson for a week, 2 weeks, a month, right? And maybe if you're like me, you don't get tired of it. It's a favorite band. You want to hear every nuance.
Probably 20 years ago with King Crimson, but I mean, the interchanging of music, it's just it varies on a daily basis.
No kidding?
Yeah.
So you find new loves and appreciations all the time.
Yes. I mean, one of my particular goals, chief objectives, is to discover new old bands always.
In other words, a garage band from the 60s that maybe
Exactly.
no one or not even you knew about.
Yeah, or like a progressive rock band from Honduras that formed in 1972, released one album and disbanded in November of 1974. Those are the things that I strive for.
So nice, man. You dig. You dig.
I do.
And sometimes you have to fly to that country to actually find the product.
Yeah. As I mentioned, the 20-year span of my favorite era, 1966 through 86, I am a musical anthropologist, and I strive to find new, old music.
Bands. Very cool. You mentioned Celtic heritage. I don't know. Do some of your songs have a touch of
They do.
bagpipe or
They do. They absolutely do.
Love it.
ABSU's second album, second, third, and fourth album all heavily deal with not only Celtic mythology, that's the first album,
Okay.
but album number 2, The Son of Tipart, album number 3, which is The Third Storm of Cthulhu. There's an EP in between that called In the Eyes of Eldana, and then after The Third Storm of Cthulhu, which is Terra. A lot of that lyrical conceptions and principles deal with our ancestral attributions of Scottish, Irish lineage, which we network within Celtic mythology.
Now, look, isn't there a box set right now of these early releases?
Yes, there. Each release has a box set. All the albums that were released on Osmos Productions from 1993 to 2001 have been released as extensive box set packages, which have been issued by the Crypt Records, based out of Massachusetts, which is a wonderful, wonderful record label. Ted Tringo, who is the mastermind behind that particular record label enterprise, has done such fabulous, grandiose, and wonderful work with that particular record label, and my perpetual salutes to him and the Crypt for doing such wonderful work with those representations of the reissues of those albums in box set format.
Very cool. You tour South America?
We have toured South America on 2 occasions. The first time was in 2012, and the second time was 2 years ago, or I'm sorry, 2.5 years ago in 2016. And we've played Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Chile.
Rabid fans?
That's an understatement.
So what would you use as the word?
They are maniacal beasts.
Intense?
Very intense, but very hospitable creatures, and just a wonderful continent. I mean, I can't really pinpoint and say that I have a favorite country within the continent of South America, but they've all been fabulous.
No kidding.
Really.
And so would you fly fly to Brazil or fly to Santiago or somewhere, and then kind of from there, I don't know, drive everywhere else, or is it?
No, it was basically flying to
Everywhere, okay.
to each show. Even in, for example, we played 4 shows in Brazil and flew to every performance in Brazil, so there wasn't any driving. Even
Gotcha.
if we had a couple of shows in one country, like 3 shows in Colombia, 4 in Brazil, they were all fly-in, fly-out situations.
I love extreme metal.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
It's
my God.
wonderful.
Do you prefer the driving or do you prefer the flying?
It depends on the time restraints. The driving is nice. If there are days off, then the driving would be much more meditating and relaxing, to actually being able to sightsee and explore the landscapes. But if there's no time off and you have a show that are consecutively back-to-back from day to day, then flying is definitely the most logical solution.
Do you have a drum tech who sets everything up just right for you?
You're looking at him.
Okay,
Yes.
it's you.
Yes, it's me.
And it's got to be just right. It's got to be your way.
Yes, and that's where the obsessive compulsive disorder kicks into 5th gear.
That cymbal cannot be an inch off. It's got to be right where you want it when that stick hits it, because you're singing too.
My philosophy is all drummers are the same, but there are no 2 drummers alike.
Besides your new Metal Legion magazine,
Which I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to rip that one open.
distributed by the Corpsepaint Show in America exclusively, what else are you reading?
Right now I'm reading The Machinery of the Mind by Dion Fortune, which was published in 1922. The Art of Memory by Francis Yates, which was issued 44 years later in 1966.
The Art of Memory.
Yes. The autobiography of Phil Collins called Not Dead Yet, who
No
was a
kidding?
huge inspiration on me, as he was a singing drummer, and then became just a singer, but still played drums. Old Genesis with Peter Gabriel.
Some great Genesis stories in that autobiography.
Yeah, definitely. Also a huge influence on me and a lot of my choreographical projections in ABSU. The Typhonian trilogies by Kenneth Grant, and an endless myriad of poetry ranging anywhere between the 9th and the mid portion of the 16th century, an endless amount of poems. So I read a lot of poetry.
No kidding. Look, in the middle of the night, if you get that inspiration, what is your course of action? Is it pencil and paper near the bed?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, and I definitely write it down because I know that writing it down, then even typing it or inputting that particular data into a phone or a laptop, it's definitely going to be a more aesthetic staple and something that will definitely be a more solidified yet better idea if I actually yet physically write it down.
Gotcha. And there's a connection between the hand and the brain.
That is correct.
And you have to write it down. And I think that is lost maybe on millennials who type everything with their thumbs.
Is.
Right? I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but there's something about writing it out, I think.
There it is. As we were talking about the sheer importance of the listening physical platform, penmanship is just as important. It definitely is.
It helps me get in the brain of the band by looking at their artwork and reading every single thing in the little booklet.
There's a special relationship between pen and paper
Oh, there definitely is.
that you can't get from a laptop or a computer.
And so you do that and maybe wake up the next morning and didn't realize, would that be fair to say that? And you're looking at it like, wow, where'd I get that? That's cool. Or is it always there?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely both.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of the Keith Richards story, from
Oh,
Satisfaction,
yes.
But Janie Slash, I am honored to have Proscriptor here.
Yeah.
It's just a monumental moment for our show. I want you to be friends of our show. I want you to stay in touch with us regarding the new release.
Oh, definitely.
And please, any other news. Do you have distributors like Osmos and others calling you, hey, come on, we hey, will you get something for us, or
I'm constantly licensing and reissuing our material, and I'm definitely infinitely networking and working and on formulating licensing deals on a global basis, and
Cool.
But right now, most importantly, is to complete the new opus, which will see the light of day at the end of 2019.
Love it. This is your blog
Correct.
on the website, and our engineer is Ryler. Thumbs up, thank you. He's scrolling through it right now, and we appreciate you put our flyer in there.
Oh yes, definitely.
Just so you know, our artist is Little Spark Films. They're a Dallas-based company. Keep them in mind for any work. They create our flyers for our episodes, and we appreciate them.
Yeah, and they create the videos for Deadly Sins, Burlesque and Sideshow, and they create the flyers for Duke's Ice House for my shows there.
Speaking of that, she produces a great burlesque show that is not your father's burlesque. It's very, very raunchy.
It's not raunchy.
Okay, all right. What's the word?
Edgy. It's
Edgy.
neo. It's new.
It's neo burlesque. And she has a show coming up this weekend, right after Valentine's Day.
A show on February 16th at Wits End in Deep Ellum.
Did I send you the short video of that, Ryler? I think we had the promo video. It's a very short little clip, so you can get a kind of a flavor of what it's like for a Deadly Sins Burlesque and Sideshow show.
Okay, definitely.
It's
Oh, I think that's what it was. It was it on?
yeah, it's on
Yeah,
the Facebook
that one right
page.
there. They do Sideshow as well as
We do
Burlesque,
Sideshow and Burlesque. Yeah.
and is emceed by Satan.
Very nice.
This is at Wits End in Deep Ellum, right
Yep.
there on Elm Street.
Traditional and neo, and sideshow, and circus elements.
Very cool. And we want you to kind of keep a watch out for Ghost Babes
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, we start filming in March.
at the
Oh.
scary paranormal locations.
Yes, yeah, we're working on the schedule right now.
You got it. Yeah, there they are. The Ghost Babes. We love you, Ghost Babes. Ghost
Yeah.
Babes. Stay right here on the Corpsepaint Show. We're live every Sunday at
Yes.
6 p.m.
Till 7
Central Time every single week. And we've got over 2 years of great content archived on the YouTube channel. All right, what else are we forgetting, Janie Slash? And I love this overhead.
Not forgetting, I don't have anything.
There's our camera. We do want to mention again our sponsor, Corpse Factory.
Yes.
Corpse Factory. And they have a lot of great clothing
Yeah.
items as well as collectibles.
Yeah,
and
great
other things.
accessories, collectibles, clothing items, brands such as Creepsville 666 and Rock Rebel and Living Dead dolls.
And our new network,
and
Chop Block
Alchemy
TV.
of England. And Chop
Chop-
Block TV,
Chop
which
Block
we are
TV.
live on as well right now.
A real great home for horror and extreme metal as well, Chop Block TV. They cover a lot of things. It's very cool.
Deep
Of
Ellum Metal
course.
Fest.
There's metal in Deep Ellum, Proscriptor. A lot of great bands with immense talent. And that Metal Fest is coming up towards the end of March.
Yeah,
There's
Crop
the dates.
Dust is coming back.
Yeah, Crop Dust coming back, Skull Archer, and Silver Tongue Devil, as well as many
Who
others
does the
right
intro
there.
song for our television show?
Prophecy, yeah. That's called Moonrise at our intro. Deep Ellum Metal Fest, of course, with Prophecy and all the other bands we mentioned. We appreciate them a lot. It's at 4 different clubs, Ruins, RBC, Wits End, and the Curtain Club, right there in the heart of Deep Ellum. Big shout out. More info to come on that. And we want to encourage people to keep us in mind for the Lords of Chaos party on the 21st of February. That's next week, Thursday, with Extreme Metal in the lobby.
That's not well, I guess it's kind of next. It's the 21st.
21st.
Not Valentine's Day. Just wanted to make sure.
Have I covered all the questions? What have we missed? What else needs a shout out? Proscriptor.
I believe you've covered all facets of what we need to discuss.
I know we kind of talked about some things in advance, and I just want to make sure I covered all the bases.
I think you have. I
Is
think
it-
you've covered everything from A to Z.
Is there anything else here that needs to be said?
I think we've covered,
covered.
all grounds.
When your album comes out, where we'll be able to find it? Will it be like a release party or still in the works for all that stuff?
That's to be announced
Cool.
at the moment, but I will definitely keep both
Yeah,
of you
keep us
posted on that.
posted
Yes,
on that.
definitely.
We would love to be there or whatever.
Yes,
the details
definitely.
are.
I'm curious if you get this weird call once in a while from someone saying, hey, I need drum lessons, or how do you do this, Phil, or how did you do that? And if you are tempted to say, well, for X number of dollars per hour, I will give you a lesson.
Not necessarily a call, but I do receive email messages once in a while about different techniques and executions and means of how I rehearse and how I practice. And some up-and-coming drummer, vocalist that share both duties, they ask me what's the best procedure in practicing and rehearsing, and I'm honored to grant those particular tips and techniques and ideas, and anybody that
Cool.
wants my 2 cents worth, I will endlessly provide that for
Well, that's
information.
very, very, very cool.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and always want to lend a helping hand to the all these arcane and esoteric musicians that are rising and up and coming, and I think that's immensely important.
I love all esoteric rising bands.
Yeah.
I do, man. And you know what? We have a gem of them right here in North Texas.
Yes.
We do. We do. And so Deep Ellum Metal Fest will highlight all of that. Ryler, have we covered everything that I sent you? I think. Yeah, pull up whatever else we had on the agenda. And Oh, this is at Gas Monkeys. Well, we talked about that.
Yes.
Dark
we
Funeral.
did.
So
You said Incantation. A lot of these bands you had toured with previously, which
Yeah,
is
three-
badass.
three of them.
I was at a occult museum in Cleveland, Ohio, and they had a demon in a box named Belphegor.
Let's see.
And I was like, oh, it's a metal band. Anyway,
When she travels, she always
Weird.
goes to the most occult
I
museum.
try to
she
find
can
interesting, weird museums. So
Believe it or not, that was in Ohio.
yeah, it's in Ohio.
Oh, of course.
Valentine's Day at Duke's Ice House, we have a free burlesque show, so come out and have a good time with us. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's free. It starts at 8.
That's in Addison on Thursday, Valentine's
It's a
night.
lot of burlesque for me next week. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely cool. That's it,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, Pop-Up Texas Frightmare Weekend. We're always excited to talk about that. And they've got some great horror guests, including, Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
And so many others. Yeah, look at
They do
Meatloaf.
Oh,
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Can you believe it? I don't think
Wow.
he ever does
Uh,
conventions.
They just announced Scott Ian from Anthrax was the latest guest.
Very cool.
So, and then they also have Felissa Rose and Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi.
And Jenna Jameson.
Jen Jameson's going to be a good time. So definitely check it out. Tickets are available at TexasFrightmareWeekend.com.
And that's coming up early May.
Yep, we'll be there. We're doing interviews.
And
February is Women in Horror Month, so definitely check out some of women directors and actors. And one of my favorite things coming up is the Sloska Sisters' new release of Rabbit. It's not out yet, but it will be soon. And so just check out some of those.
a remake
Their
of the
website.
Cronenberg Rabbit, right?
Yeah. But check out the Women in Horror Month website. They've got some fun events posted.
Yeah. Women in Horror Month is February. That is this month. Thank you very much, Proscriptor. Janie Slash, did we
Thank you.
cover everything
Yeah,
we
we
need to?
covered everything we need to cover.
We will be back next Sunday, and guess who is joining us? It is. It looks like it's going to be our friend from Crest of Darkness, and yes, and of course, and he wants to tell the story. I'm hoping he will, of when he knew Euronymous from Mayhem. And, of course, that's kind of the tie-in to Lords of Chaos. So that's Ingar Amlin from Crest of Darkness Band. And they're still going strong and just finished a tour as well. They're from Norway.
Okay.
Hails to ABSU and Proscriptor for being here, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure
Once
having
again,
you.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Love that image right there, man.
Thank you.
That is it right there. That tells it. Hails. You guys have a great, great week, and we'll see you next Sunday to talk more about extreme Norwegian metal.
Have a good week.
Yeah, the Corpsepaint Show. Every Sunday we're here live. We're going to give you 90 minutes of live, great, irreverent shit. And also just talk about Satan and talk about movies and talk about metal and talk about Jenny Slash's weekly dose of horror.
Yeah. Texas Frightmare Weekend. I am here with Dee Wallace. Don't stare at my boobs the whole time.
Sure, I do get comments from occasionally religious fanatics.
I've seen people stop and down.
Who want to wag their finger at me for being Satan.
The Corpsepaint Show rules!